Hello, guys. Welcome to episode 32 of the Sling Ting, and I've got two great UK guys here who are involved in a lot of things happening in the hobby here in the UK. They've also just brought out a brand new product to everyone, so we're going to touch on all that sort of stuff. Before we deep dive into that, let's find out a little bit more about them individually. So we're going to start with Ben. Give us a quick introduction. How you doing, Ben?
I'm all good, mate. Yeah. So for those that don't know me, I'm Ben Houghton. I've been shooting catapults for sort of over 15 years. I was on the scene about 12 years ago, doing a few shoots and stuff like that. In the end, I sort of got a bit disheartened from the competitive side of things. Left for a while, and then last year, just by off chance, I met Lee. He said he had a little club down here. I popped down and been down pretty much every weekend since, and attending all the shoots and fully back into it now. So that's just a bit of me.
Nice, because I think I've seen some pictures of you, and I think you had hair when you first started, didn't you, Ben?
yeah. There's some golden ones.
Yeah, hair until he met me, and then he started pulling it out.
Yeah, until we started organising events, and it got stressful.
And what about you, Lee? Give us a quick introduction.
Picked up a catapult. Well, first time I shot a catapult, I was about 14. My nan got me a hunting knife and a catapult. Loved it at the time, and then you move on. You become, an adult and move on with things. Picked up again 7 years ago. I was looking for air rifles because I've got chickens and ducks, and I wanted to get rid of the rats. Stumbled across the new technology and all that. Started shooting them, and I've been hooked ever since.
Nice, perfect. There we go. And then if we just quickly touch on your current go-to setups, Ben, what are you going with at the moment?
The same frame I've been shooting for well over 10 years now. I've got about 5 of them, but all the same frame. Just my trusty Toolman. Some of the older shooters will probably recognise that name by Timothy Foster. But the one I'm shooting is actually a clone that John Jeffries made me. A very special little number. And I'm pairing that with .45 Ghost White, shooting it long draw and 8mm stills. And it's doing the job for pretty much everything. I'm shooting it well, which I'm happy about.
Nice, perfect. I mean that always makes sense. I thought I was one of the oddballs that shot the same frame for 2 years straight, but 10 years, that's good going. What about you, Lee?
I'm shooting. I'm just shooting a little ply frame. It's in my bag at the minute. It's just a prototype of a design I've been shooting, but I feel really comfortable with the ply set, and I'm shooting .4 Ghost White, 22 to 12, and obviously full butter.
Yeah, nice. So long draw. Did one of you influence the other into doing that, or was that a coincidence that you both just so happened to shoot long draw?
No, just a coincidence. I come down the club, saw Lee shoot, and was like, "There's another long draw shooter," which you don't often see that much in England. There's sort of quite few and far between. I think the Yanks like it a bit more, don't they? But it was just pure coincidence, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, perfect. And talking about competitions, Ben, you said you were involved in some competitions, a good while ago, and the competitiveness got to you and all that sort of stuff. What's changed for you, and why have you decided to deep dive into doing it yourself now?
Honestly, the whole scene I feel has changed. The competitions were great. I did enjoy them when I went. They were quite clicky back in the day. You could go to a competition on your own or with your mate and only talk to your mate, or if you was on your own, you was on your own. And then I sort of just went, you know what, I'm done with them. I do what I do down in the woods, and I enjoy that, and that's fine for me. And then I come back, and people saying, "Oh, you need to jump on the comps," and I'm thinking, do I? I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt, and then I went to a few comps and was like, oh, this has totally changed. Everyone's super helpful, super friendly. Don't get me wrong, there was lots of good lads that went. I just felt it was a little bit cliquey back then, and that totally seems to have changed these days. I don't know what's happened, but the scene in general is a lot more helpful, and a lot friendlier, really. So,
do you think that could be partially to do with social media and people being able to get to know each other a little bit more through social media
definitely.
and stuff like that?
Yeah, definitely. I think half of these people you talk to regularly before you've even met them, and they're like, "Oh, it's you," and you're putting a face to a name in real life. So I think that has had a massive increase. Yeah, definitely.
And what about you, Lee? I know obviously you've done a couple of competitions, and I know you said initially perhaps this wasn't the reason why you got into shooting a catapult. But what's your kind of view on competitions? And again, why have you decided to dive headfirst into kind of running your own and all that sort of stuff?
Well, last year, Russ Connor from Grizzlies, he was banging on at me and banging on at me. You need to get to a competition, get to a competition. So I think the first competition I ever went to was a Grizzly comp over in Sussex Catapult Club, and I done all right. I got a semi-pro third place or whatever, but it was meeting all the lads, meeting everybody. Straight away, it just felt like you'd known them for years and all that lot. Loads of them started coming down the club. Like that's where we met Titans and all them boys, and they all started coming down the club most weekends, and just jumped in with them. Like it felt like I knew Henry and all them boys all my life. Like they we went to Wales and they were like jumped in the transit with us, and there was about 8 of us in the transit. Me, Henry, and George. Like we'd only known each other 3 months. We all stayed in one room, like 2 beds pushed together, and it's like I've known them all my life. So yeah, just really enjoying that side of it. Yeah, and it just sort of went from there. Just sort of spiraled, went to loads, and here we are today.
Nice, nice, and a big shout out to those guys because I've had the pleasure of meeting those at Harrogate last year, just as I did you, Ben. And talking of the competitions, the UKSA in particular, you guys are now on board with the UKSA South division, if I'm correct. Talk to me a little bit about what that means and what sort of things you guys are going to be up to.
Go on, Ben, I'll let you.
So basically, obviously the bigger shoots are up north, so we get the pull from up there, and all of us from down south have to travel quite a long way. So we're sort of hoping putting some shows on down south will pull crowds that might not have committed to going that far up north. I mean, we're trying to put on big top quality shoots. I mean, we'll have to see how it goes. It's going to be our first one, but we're trying to pull something pretty special off. And we just thought that doing it under that banner will help draw bigger crowds. We can do it under the same name and do it to a level that I guess people expect under that banner as well.
Yeah, I mean the last big
Nice, yeah,
shoot
I really
down the
like that idea.
south would have been what 8 years ago. So there hasn't been a big one down the south for a long time. So it's a bit experimental, but we just want to mirror Harrogate and bring it down here.
Yeah, because I think there's a few different views on competitions and how they perhaps affect one another. For example, some people may say if there's a big shoot down south, will that take the numbers away from Harrogate and therefore the shoot won't be as big as itself? But I actually think the more opportunities for people to attend the shoots, because sometimes there's other things going on in people's lives, or just the traveling could be an issue itself. So having multiple options, and I'm sure there will be people that will attend both. You know, ideally, I'd wish there was one further north, because you say north, but I'm up here in Scotland, and you know, I know Camp Bob is just around the corner. I think Tony was talking about putting some shows on here in Scotland, but yeah, I think that if we were to have bigger competitions again, it just gives more options to people to attend one, because you know, I know that ESF got those things going as well. But realistically, is if you miss one of the big ones like Harrogate, you haven't got many throughout the year. I know you've got your club shoots, and there's a couple of other smaller shoots going on and stuff like that, and a couple of ESF ones, but for the most part, you kind of missed it. So at least not only with location, but with other dates, there's more opportunity.
Yeah, I also think you'll probably get more people. I don't think you'll take people away from shoots like Harrogate and that, because I think once you get new shooters at a shoot, as soon as I'd done my first shoot, I was like, I want to go to all of them. So I think if you go, oh, that's just up the road, I might turn up to that. They turn up, they have a great time.
Yeah.
Then they go, when's the next one? Where is it? I'll travel to that. So I actually think you'll encourage more instead of diminishing numbers. I think you'll actually increase them.
And it is still run by the same people, because we'll be going up to Harrogate and helping them run the north, and then they'll all be coming down here and helping us run the south. So it is the same association, totally.
It just works
nice.
logistically, you know. We know the local companies. We've got to get Portaloos down there, fund the venues, that sort of stuff. It's harder to do that from halfway up the country. Whereas if it's on your
Yeah, and you
doorstep,
make some really good points. You make some really good points there, Ben, because you know, for me, for example, realistically, I could only make a shoot like Harrogate or maybe Camp Bob once or twice a year because of commitments. However, if there was another shoot half an hour away or an hour away, I'd definitely be attending it. So that's something I've not thought about. You know, the more local to you know, people's locations these events are putting up,
And
you're definitely going to get more people.
say
So
hello.
I like that.
Come on, man. Camera shot. So there's one of the club members is there. I was telling him to come on camera, but he won't. He's too shy.
So yeah, we'll talk about that now. Actually, obviously, if you haven't noticed, or if you're not watching this video and you're listening to it, we've got Lee and Ben inside of a sort of makeshift kind of bit of cover there in the outdoors with a little fire going next to them. So talk to me a little bit about where you are right now and what the events are going to be after you've got off the podcast today.
Well, basically, this is. I asked around to try and find a woodland to base the club, and a very nice lady called Emma come back to me. We're based in sort of Pembury in Kent, and she come back to me, and her granddad used to shoot catapults, so she felt it was a bit of a sign. Her father's buried here as well, and he was involved in catapults as a child, and it just works very, very well. It's a lovely, beautiful little spot. Anyone who comes down here for a competition will tell you it's amazing. Like if you come down here early enough, there's deers, cranes, there's all sorts here. It's a lovely little spot. But the competition venue won't be here. We'll just have this as sort of a local, like a southeast. We'll have a few shoots. We normally have a Christmas shoot here and things like that. But the main shoot is going to be in Yalding in Kent. Not very far from here, to be honest, about 15 minutes away from here. And it's based on a farm. Really nice woman called Heidi owns it. We've been down there, it's all sorted. Portaloos are booked. We're ready to go already.
Nice. And what's the dates on that? And if you could you know, tell the listeners you know, what they need to do to kind of get to that event, if you could just let people know, because I'm sure it's going to be a great event.
it's the August bank holiday, isn't it? The weekend of.
Yeah, it's the August bank holiday, so we're going to be there from the Thursday for people who have come a long way, so they can set up and get comfortable and all that. And then the main days are going to be Friday and Saturday, and Sunday is going to be trophy giving and packing up, really. We're going to have events all over the Friday and the Saturday. We're going to have ongoing events with a stall, with one of us running it at all times. Loads of little mini games and bits and pieces going on. We're talking to people about getting stalls down. Like we'd like to have axe throwing, archery, you know, bushcrafty, outdoorsy sort of events going on. Should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're planning on
Sounds good. Sounds
doing
good.
quite a
And
few like mini events, aren't we? For not trophies, not for prizes, just for fun. Like can races, the snooker, things like that. Just to keep people entertained when the main events aren't running. We're planning on having quite a few mini just for fun events, which I'm really looking forward to actually.
yeah, that sounds good. I think the more events and the more time you can get people shooting, the better it is, really. I know at Harrogate, obviously you've got the main hunters course, well, the field target course, should I say, and then you've got the smaller one which you do in the evening of one of the first nights, and that becomes your practice range. Have you got something like that set up? Are you going to have a decent practice range for everyone turning up?
Yeah, there'll be a good practice range. We've got loads of room over there. It's a really nice site, actually, isn't it?
Yeah,
I'm
it
really
is.
looking forward to it, to be honest. But especially because we've only seen it in winter as well. In the summer, it's going to be epic. Yeah, it's going to be really good.
Yeah, so we've got a nice little camping field,
Nice.
and then there's a strip that runs straight through the middle, and we're going to shoot down that strip. But yeah, there's plenty of room. It's actually bigger than we remembered because you went back down there, didn't you? And we looked down Google Maps. It's quite a big area actually. So plenty of room.
Nice. Nice. So moving on to the next subject, I know people would have seen online recently that you guys have put your heads together and come out with a new band. So let's talk about that and talk about why you've decided to come out with a new band, what sort of tests you've done, because I know we were speaking about that, and what the general consensus is with people that have shot it so far.
Well, maybe if I tell them about the testing,
I'll
and then
tell
you
them
can
about
tell.
how. Well, I'll start on how it came about. Honestly, I used to shoot the .45 Wasp Natural, and then it got
Okay.
discontinued, and I was absolutely gutted because I loved that band. I cannot sing its praises higher, and and I was looking for a direct replacement for that, and sort of couldn't find anything on the normal, like from the normal vendors that matched all the qualities that I liked from that band. So I took it upon myself to try and find the closest match as I could, and I got some samples from some factories and that sort of thing, and I brought it down. And I started shooting it in the .4, and realised it was quick. It I actually thought it was quicker just on views. It had a slightly lighter draw weight, and I shot it and I started shooting it really well. And at that time, Lee had the YouTube channel where he was doing all the tests, the fantastic elastic, and testing draw weight and speed and all of that. And I said, put that through the chronograph. But we didn't actually stop looking there. I continued the search for what I personally would like to shoot. Because funny enough, it was actually the first band we got, and you always think don't jump at the first one. But
Yeah.
after testing a lot, it turned out I should have just pulled the trigger on the first one, and it was honestly it was just for me to shoot. I really liked the band. I wanted it. You can't order it in just a roll, so we said, right, we'll have a few hundred meters of it, and because I gave Lee a little sample of it, he really liked it. Said he'd like to start shooting it, and that's how it all came about. And then if you go on about the testing and your videos.
So basically, it's only my personal opinion, but for me, I judge how good a band is by its efficiency rather than just speed, rather than just draw weight or whatever. So efficiency, I judge by the lightest possible draw to the fastest speed. And yeah, basically this was right up there, like right in the top one or two out of every single .4 and .45 band I tried. So it's just a really, really light draw and quick as hell, isn't
Yeah,
it? Basically.
yeah, very stretchy. Quite a lot of people that have got it said they have to cut a few centimeters off it. It's quite stretchy. I think Precise Cyan actually just nips it. I think Precise Cyan's a little bit better. However, I don't particularly like the feel of the Precise. I know lots of people do, but that's just me. I find it's with the Wasp, it's got that slightly smoother pull and a bit less snatchy. I find the Precise can be a little bit snatchy, but again, that's just preference, isn't it?
Yeah. So I'd say out of everything so
Yeah.
far, Precise Cyan and Ghost White was has been the top so far. But I am still continuing with the tests, and that was with Sniper Sling and all the big name brands as well.
Yeah, I mean the tests aren't trying to throw anyone under the bus or say that one band's better than the other or any band's rubbish. Other than that, gold sniper sling stuff. That's awful. Don't shoot that.
Oh, Slingshot.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's the only band I'll openly throw shade on. Yeah.
And hats off to you, because I know, you know, band testing is not the easiest thing in the world. It's not the most fun thing in the world. I mean, I'm sure, just like a lot of other people, I went through that when BSB went down the drain.
Yeah.
And I bought, I think I spent 100 quid on rolls of bands and things like that. And it was horrible. It was horrible. And I think I tested most bands on the market, and then Cyan was released. And I thought, oh, I might as well try it just so I can say that and then that's it. I've been stuck on that. So it's quite interesting that, you know, you've compared the two and said that they're the top two. In my personal opinion, I've always got on really well with the lighter coloured, the white bands or the natural looking bands. So I'm definitely gonna have to try a roll with the Ghost White. And I've actually gone down to 0.45 in the last sort of 6 months as well, shooting 7mm steel. So yeah, definitely be giving that a go. Where can people find this band, and how can they go out and get it?
There's a couple of options. You can either message me or Lee directly on Facebook or whatever. But we've actually just got the website up and running. There's currently one item on it, but hopefully there's more to be added. It's just www.slingting.co.uk.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And we've got all sizes on there at the minute, haven't we?
Nice.
Apart from 0.5. Because for some reason,
0.55. For some reason, they don't make it in point. Oh yeah, sorry. Other than 0.5, we've got 0.55, 0.45. They don't make it in 0.5 for some reason.
Okay, and then what about restocking? Because I know, I'm not sure whether there's many. I know there's a few people out there that tend to kind of switch bands quite often, but I'm very much, I like to stick with my equipment, frame, pouch, band. What's your restocking looking like? Because I'd hate to get hooked on it and then not be able to get it again.
No, this was a big one for me because honestly, once that was natural, it felt like I'd had an arm cut off or something. I was in a bit of a pickle. I was truly gutted, and you know, I even got to the point I was messaging Wasp like, "You got to get it back," and he said it's probably not happening.
he offered him everything.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, anything, however much, name the price. But no, I made sure with the factory that it is a regular item that they will always have stock of. I mean, currently we've got nearly 300 meters of it, so it's not running out anytime soon. But I have confirmed with the factory that it is. They will always have that in stock for the foreseeable future.
And it's not a rebrand or anything like that. You get some people, they buy these rolls on AliExpress or whatever and stick a sticker on it. It ain't one of them. This is our own recipe. We're the only ones using it, and it's direct from the factory in China as well.
Perfect. So what I'll do is I'll just put down in the description below the Sling Ting website,
Yeah.
just so people can head on over there. If you're watching this and you want to grab yourself a roll of the band, make sure you do so. I'm going to do that myself after this episode. So there we go. So to tie this up, we've got a couple of questions for you guys. I'm not sure whether you've had a chance to be able to look at them. I always find that interesting whether people have looked up their own questions or not. But we've got a couple of really good ones in here. So we'll dive into those. Let's have a look. I'm sure, just like me, you'll know a lot of these people in the comments. Okay. So the first question we got is by Mr. Andy Maunt, who I know you're both familiar
Never
with.
heard of him.
So good shout out to Andy. And he always asks two questions. I do say that asking more than one question is for Sling Den members only, but Andy's been a fan of the channel since day one, so I'll allow it just for
What, you mean
Andy.
he's
I'm
that
sure he'll be
tight that he
chuffed
hasn't joined
there
your membership
watching
yet?
this. And what's that? No, he hasn't got the membership, but he seems to want to ask, 3-4 questions for every single guest. So,
That's
fair
unlike
play to
Andy,
him. At least
isn't
he's
it?
consistent. So his first one is: if you both could place your perfect target on a hunter's course, what would it be?
Oh, that's easy for me.
Go on.
Shooting downwards, long distance and down. For some reason, I always seem
Yeah,
to hit them,
tough.
and other people seem to miss them. So it makes me look good.
Me, as big
What
as
about you, Lee?
possible and as close as possible.
No, that's the worst one for me. Those big ones that are like 2 foot away, I always miss them.
Something like that.
Yeah.
That'd do.
Yeah.
There we go. From what, 2 meters?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd do. Yeah.
The second one from Andy is: which one of you gives the best reach around?
He'll have to come to our shoot and find out.
He'll have to join
What
the
was that? That
Sling
just
Den
broke
members
up a little bit
only.
there. What was that, Ben?
I said he'll have to come to
Yeah,
us.
yeah. Sling Den,
Yeah, have to come to our
Sling
summer
Den
shoot
only
and find out,
fans.
Andy.
Which he won't. Because he don't travel.
He does say, though, in all fairness, two of the most genuine guys I've had the pleasure of meeting. So there we go. Nice one, Andy. The next one is by someone that you've mentioned in today's episode, in Russ Connor. He says, have you bought any paint for the targets yet?
We have, but we get the rusty ones out for the Grizzlies.
We don't like them hitting our nice new targets.
But that's if they can hit them at all.
Yeah, we have. We've repainted the whole course.
There you go, Russ. Look, is that good enough quality for you, mate?
We've actually just put up a
Lovely.
new course as well. We've got two independent courses running, so two 30 shot courses at the moment.
Where it's got a bit busier, we've split the course into two now. So with 2 targets on each peg, and then we can space ourselves out a bit better. So yeah, all good.
Nice. The next one is by Natty Catty, aka Phil Gaunt.
Never heard of
Same
him.
Don't
vans,
know him.
same bands, same draw. What about whore? Well, thanks, Phil. You've probably got me demonetized now. But serious question. Wh- what advice would you give to someone wanting to set up their own club, lad? Permission wise, what do you offer the landowner for being able to use the land? P.S. I've got your bands for sale on nattycattybands.co.uk.
I would say the hardest thing is getting someone, because obviously there's a lot of negativity around catapults. There's a lot of positivity once you get into it, but people don't see that bit until they, know everything a bit better. So it's finding someone that'll take a punt on you, to be honest. And I said, because I believe that mental health is a big part of this as well, because we're all geezers together. We all chat and moan and, get things off our mind while we're down here. And that appealed to my landowner. And I was lucky enough that her family in past generations were into catapults. So that really helped. But you've just got to be honest with people. Just be honest with them. Make sure, that you're not going to take liberties on their land and they know it. And eventually you'll find somewhere. And yeah, to be honest, some people won't even charge. Some people would charge us something small. You might have to charge your members £40 a year or something like that. But the costs are genuinely negligible. God, that's a big word for me, isn't it?
Yeah, I also
Perfect.
think
That's
it's a numbers game. You can't just go. I've asked 3 people. They've all said no. I'm going to give up on that. I mean, you're going to get so many more rejections than you will people opening the door to you. I totally get it. Why would you
yeah.
want to let a load of people you don't know on your land to set up a course? But I think if you throw enough shit at the wall, something's going to stick eventually. You know,
100%.
someone's going to go, actually, I can see what they're doing there. They're trying to do a good thing. So, yeah, I think you've just got to keep at it and just don't get disheartened. I mean, it was disheartening even just trying to find somewhere for our shoot this year.
It was hard work. So
Yeah.
setting up, getting ready for that shoot was hard work, but we done it in the end.
Perfect. Some very good advice. The next one we've got is by Simon Curran. So he says, if you could bring anything catapult related back from the dead, what would it be? He says maybe a discontinued band, a frame no longer in production, or even a style or fad that didn't get the love it deserved.
Ooh.
See, I'd say catapult wise, I liked the LBS or the Amigo because it was very similar to the Amigo, but J5 catapults, I used to like what he was doing. He was doing some good stuff. And band wise, I would say BSB Original Recipe because it's top band.
Yeah.
Green Dub, 11 mils, tabs. no one shoots that anymore, but it was fun to shoot. It didn't shoot particularly well, it didn't shoot fast, but it was fun.
It was fun. There you go. Yeah, I strongly agree with you there, Lee, on the BSB. The next one's by a really good friend of mine in Chris Foster. All right, lads. Hope yous are well. Was great meeting Ben at Bob, and hopefully get to meet Lee sometime, possibly Harrogate. How do you lads go about sourcing your bands? Was it hard to get the ball into motion? And what is your most memorable shot with a catapult? Good questions. And Chris is a member, so he is allowed to ask 2 questions before Andy jumps on.
Sourcing bands, sourcing bands wasn't the difficult part. Finding good bands was. Like I say, we were lucky. It was literally the first band we tried, but it was, it's a very long process. You know, getting samples from China, them turning up. You open it up, you go, that's trash. Throw it in the bin. You can tell almost immediately.
Yeah.
We also shot some all right bands that probably would have shot mid-table on Lee's chart. But obviously we wasn't looking for mid-table. We was looking for top tier.
The cream.
So it very time-consuming, a labour of love. Again, me doing it purely selfishly because I wanted to find my new band, and I would have travelled across the world to get something that matched it. So,
And I'd say shot wise, I would say when I started competing last year, I was shooting PFS with 9.5 mil stills, and I was chucking them about 300 FPS. And when I first started going around, I was bending the targets and all sorts, and everyone was just watching me like, "What the hell is he shooting here?" Like, it's like they'd never seen that sort of speed. And John Jeffries even said to me, "You've stacked everything against yourself. You're shooting PFS with 9.5 mil stills. You can't make it any harder." But I was doing all right. But obviously, I do better, non-PFS.
and my one was probably my. I done a YouTube TikTok video where I shot a matchstick, and I genuinely hit that first time. You can probably tell by my face
Nice.
that I wasn't expecting to, and then I suddenly thought everyone's going to think I've had a million takes at that, so now I've got to do it again, and I think I shot 3 of them in 9 shots, but the first shot I was like,
Nice.
I did not expect to hit it at all, and I was genuinely ecstatic with that.
And he had to do that because he told the BBC man that we genuinely hit matches regularly, didn't you?
Yeah, and I've never shot a matchstick in my life. The guy was,
You
he
have to
was like,
prove it.
keep talking. So I was just waffling. And I was like, I don't even know if I can hit a matchstick.
What's the smallest thing that comes to my mind? Oh, matchstick.
Yeah. I've beaten it now with a grain of rice, but...
Yeah, but now he's at the grain of rice. What's next?
Yeah,
Like a molecule
it's
or
getting
an
a bit...
atom
Oh, yeah.
or,
Getting a bit silly
Yeah.
now.
See if we can find the flea for Ben to shoot.
shoot the leg off it.
Yeah.
mooching for fleas. Right, the next one is by Terry Booz. I'm sorry if I've pronounced that wrong. Buzz, Buzz.
Yeah,
But anyway,
met Terry, he's a
hi
nice guy.
guys. He says, love Sling Ting Ghost White, but was wondering if there's any other products coming out or being tested.
Yeah, we're planning on we're planning on developing that website and having some more stuff. I'm gonna get cracking making some targets, and we're constantly keeping an eye out for some more stuff to add. We want to make it sort of a one stop shop. So yeah, there's going to be pouches, cutting mats, that sort of stuff. We're just trying to get the ball rolling on that.
We're just taking it slow because I tried to launch something like that before, and I just went headlong into it all. Whereas now it's just let's just see how we go. Just take our time. We've got the band that we're really happy with. We just want all top quality stuff on there. So we're going to take our time, but over time that it will grow. Yeah.
Nice.
And thank you,
The
Terry. You've
next
been a
one's
top
by
customer.
the next one's by someone that's been on the podcast before. So big shout out to Rex Spurlock Jr. What is your most memorable shot in a tournament, and your fondest memories of your first tournament? So obviously we've talked about your shots, but is there any particular shots at a tournament, and what are your best memories from a tournament?
Yeah. Mine, it was just a little local tournament with and I ended up in a shootout with one of our guys actually, Samet. He's a top member of West Kent Catboat Club. He's always down here helping. We ended up in a shootout, and to be honest, I didn't really want to be in a shootout against one of my teammates, but it is what it is. And we were literally neck for neck. He'd hit a 2, I'd hit a 2, I'd hit a 3, he'd hit a 3, he'd drop down 1, hit a 2, then I'd hit a 3, and it was like, and we got down to the last target. He shot a 2, and then I shot a 3, and I thought, because I thought the shootout was then going to go into like a second round, and just the relief. I think it was audible. I probably shouldn't have gone like but but I did. It wasn't the most sporting, but
The
I
pressure.
remember the relief that just came over me after that shootout.
And Sam, we taught he'd never shot a catapult till he come to the club. And over 9 months, me, Ben, and Sam are pretty much sort of the same level now.
Exceptionally good. Yeah, he's going to be one to watch.
He's going to come out the ring.
Yeah, and he's still semi-pro, so yeah, Harrogate might have to watch out.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. What was the other question?
Look forward to it.
Yeah, what was the other
just
half?
a memory of you have.
Fondest memory. I'd say
just a fond memory you have.
One of my fond memories is, I've got to say this one, but Bill.
I know exactly where he's going with this.
Bill off the team. I don't know. There's so many. They all involve Bill because he's just mental. That's Henry's brother-in-law, by the way. But yeah, I mean, there's just so many. But yeah, Bill and Joe, they just get absolutely rat-faced, and you just don't know what's going to happen with them. But they're lovely drunk. They are lovely drunk. They're not horrible drunk. But yeah, I mean, Joe lost his shoes. He tried to swap them for a kebab in the kebab shop. Yeah, walking in the pub in Wales, and Bill's in there with a white vest on and his chain and all that, with country music blaring. Just, you know, oh my God. Just things like that. Just there's loads of characters in Catapult.
I thought you was going to go for him grabbing Little Joe's band.
Oh, you tell him that one then.
Little Joe kept pulling back, and Bill kept grabbing onto his bands, and in the end he got the hump with it and just let go and shot a hole in Bill's hands.
Or what about when Bill and Joe was having that little competition over there?
Oh, that was a cracking one. they were having this competition, and I think they'd put some money on it. I can't remember. They'd put some money on it, and and they kept missing. But Big George was standing behind them and hitting the target as they were letting go. And I was like, "Oh, hit that! Oh, did you hear?" And they genuinely believed, and we was all cracking up in the background watching Big George actually hit the targets that they were missing.
He's going, I can't miss. I can't miss. Yeah, good
Nice.
time. Good time.
Yeah.
The next one is by Jay Green. Big shout out to Jay. He says, will you guys be heading to Harrogate? And if so, will you be selling rolls of bands?
Yeah, we'll be selling rolls of bands. We'll be able to do them slightly cheaper than we do them online.
No
Obviously, no postage, no jiffy bag, none of that. So we'll be able to knock a couple of quid off for in-person orders. Shout out to Jay, my mammoth brother. he's got a catapult that's made from the same slice of mammoth ivory as mine.
I wonder where he was going with that.
Nice. Nice. The next one's by Jake Sellens. I met Jake at Harrogate last year, young lad, really nice lad. So
He's been over here.
Incredible
first time he's
shooter.
asked.
He's been over here. He outshot nearly everyone.
Yeah, he's incredible. If he's really one to watch.
Nice. So he says, what's your best shooting tip? So it doesn't sound like he needs any tips for what you guys are saying and what I witnessed at
He needs
Harrogate,
to
but
Just keep doing what you're doing,
yeah,
Jake.
yeah, you're doing it all right, mate. Has he got some tips for us? Because we're all ears. On a serious note, best top shooting tip: get to a club if you can, shoot with other people. That's my top tip. I mean, I started shooting. I was totally self-taught and made a lot of mistakes that were really hard to get yourself out of once you've been repeating them over and over and over again. I think I heard somewhere it takes 10,000 shots to delete something and have that new muscle memory, which I can believe. I mean, you know, we've had Sam and Ant here, which Ant's only been shooting a few months. Sam's been shooting about 9 months, and they're coming up at a huge rate at knots.
Way quicker than what we.
Yeah. Like they're shooting to a standard it took me years to shoot in a few months.
nice.
And that is just shooting around other people that know how to shoot, that can give you some tips, whether it's on setup. They can look at, you know, if you're holding it wrong, if you're anchoring wrong, all of those little nuances.
The other thing I would say is stick to the same setup. I stick to the same setup all the time.
No, you don't.
What have I got today? I just shoot random shit.
He's like, every time I
What's
see
in
Lee, he's like, "This
Lee's
is the
lucky
one.
dip
This is
bag?
all I'm going to shoot forever." And then you see him 2 minutes later, he's got something totally different.
But it don't do me no good. If you can stick to the same band, the same pouch, the same frame width, everything, it will do you good in the long run.
Yeah, I also think when
You're right.
you're
I think
with people,
I wasted so much time at the beginning, which I wish I could get back, just messing around with setups, and I wish I just could have the knowledge that I've got now. So yeah, being around other people would definitely give you that knowledge instantly, rather than having to do all that finding yourself. I know you can post online and stuff, but it's not really the same as when you can have, you know, real chats with people in person and, you know, all that sort of stuff. So that's a really good one.
also I find that when you're shooting, especially at a course, you start chasing numbers. Instead of, you know, I've hit a tin can 9 out of 10 times. That's great. I'm happy at that level. When you see people that are better, you're constantly striving for better scores and to be up there with the big boys. And I think that helps massively, because I think it's quite easy to get to a level plateau because you're happy with that standard of shooting. Whereas if you're chasing numbers and have that competitiveness, there's not that. Oh yeah, I'm happy with how I'm shooting now.
Well, that's what's good about here, isn't it? Because sometimes you'll win on a Sunday, sometimes me, sometimes Sam. So we're all chasing each other and we're all going up, aren't we? So it does help.
Nice. The next one is by Paul Webber, who I have to say, if there was an
Paul
award
Weller?
for best questions, he would be up there for the very best. So he says, a serial killer is killing people with a slingshot. What moniker does the news media give him? So what would the headline be? What would the nickname be for the serial killing people with a slingshot?
The Rubber Bandit.
Oh, that's good. I think you might.
Come up with
I
that,
don't
Tim?
think
You know
this
how
beat.
I,
I
you know
don't
how
think
I come up with that? This is how old I am.
is that Home Alone?
That was my username on the Slingshot forum before like Facebook
All
groups
right.
and all of that. Yeah, that's how old I am. That's when
You got
back in
anything
the
that can
days
top
when
that,
people were
Lee?
shooting M8 hex nuts as their choice of ammo.
And anything to beat that, Lee?
The Slingshot Psycho.
Yeah, that's quite a good one.
Slingshot's like. So you could have Rubber Johnny, so you can bust your head through the door and say, "Here's Johnny."
Oh,
Uh,
God. Nice one, Paul. Cheers for that.
The next one is by Colton Donhauser. Big shout out to Colton. I've spoken to him over the years. Really nice guy. He says, "Do you hunt with a slingshot? If so, what's your favorite recipe or way to cook game?"
yeah, well, this is something we should probably touch on because obviously we've been quite vocal about these TikTok videos and stuff like that, and we're pretty anti because we don't want to see our sport get ruined. We don't want to see kids down the park shooting pigeons, but we both do hunt, so it might seem hypocritical.
Yeah, but we do it the right way.
Yeah.
We're not in the high street shooting
No.
pigeons and swans,
Honestly, I think it's an educational issue rather than an issue with catapults. I think if you go out with people at hunt, they teach you the rights from wrongs, what you can shoot, what you can't shoot, when you can shoot it, when you can't shoot. Making sure you've got those nice clean shots, and you're doing everything ethically. Whereas lots of these kids have just sort of self-educated themselves and think it's all right to shoot a pigeon off Doris's roof, and it's obviously not. But saying that, yeah, the whole reason that I started shooting slingshots was I used to do a lot of like work with the lurchers with my dad, and lots of you will know Mark Clark. He gave me my first catapult when I was only wee, and
Not much
yeah,
bigger now, yeah?
no, not much, and it was to go shoot rabbits up the field, and yeah, like I say, we haven't got a problem with it. But going back to the question, for me, red hot pan, garlic butter, pigeon breasts done to in between rare and medium rare is unbelievably tasty meat.
So I'd say my favourite is probably if you've got the time to pluck a whole pheasant and do like a roast pheasant with your roast dinner and whatever. I've done that Boxing Day this year. It was lovely. Or I've done this like Chinese rabbit and it was in like a sort of batter, fried, and then you put like a sort of teriyaki sauce on it and sesame seeds.
That does sound nice.
Mate, that was banging. That was real good.
Saying that, I done a mallard the other day. Done duck pancakes with it. If I was going to go back and do it again, I'd add a bit of stock because where it was not a farmed one, it didn't have that fat content, so it dried out a little bit. It was still delicious, but I'd do it in a bit of stock or add some extra fat to it. But
Nice, and these are the sort of conversations that real people that really want to hunt should be talking about. Is all these recipes, and I've made game pies, I've made pheasant curry, thanks to Joe FIFA put me onto that. But I've made so many things. Even as simple, like you said, bit of garlic butter. I've got chickens, so some fresh eggs in the morning, some garlic butter, some pigeon. These are sort of conversations that actually bring me joy, is being able to harvest my own food. Not put it on video with some trashy music in the background in a North Face sort of track. So that's
Throw it in
not
the
what it's
hedge.
about.
Yeah.
That's not what. Yeah, exactly. There'll probably be too. You see half of them; they're too scared to go and pick the pigeon up and stuff. So it's ridiculous, really, when we really think about it. But I always think that I never post anything on what I've done. In terms of actually being able to get onto a permission, do it properly. Like you said, Ben, when you went away from the competitions, you like going into the woods and being alone. that side of the sport for me is that is something that I don't do with other people. It's something that I like to just do on my own for my own personal reasons, on my own personal bit of land that I've got. And I think that's the best way forward. But yeah, I think we've both, we've all got the same sort of opinion on it, and what is the right way to kind of go about it.
See, I've always been taught the leave no trace. Whether you're on permission, the gates get
Yeah,
shut. That you take everything that you've shot, everything that you don't drop anything. You leave zero trace. No one should have ever known that you've been there. It doesn't matter where you
yeah,
are. Not even just for shooting. If you're out just walking in the woods, leave no trace. And when it comes to shooting, I sort of think that a digital trace as well. You probably shouldn't leave a digital trace. I mean, don't get me wrong. I will send a photo to Lee. Oh look, I've had a good day. I bagged up. I'll send my dad a WhatsApp, and I'll send Lee a WhatsApp, and then that's as far as it goes. Like I say, Doris from up the road doesn't want to see it, and I fully
yeah.
understand that. You don't.
There's no need for it.
Yeah, it shouldn't be shoved in people. I don't mind watching videos like that, because I guess I've been desensitized to it. But if you don't want to see it, you don't want to see it. It shouldn't be popping up on your feed randomly.
No, shoved in your face.
Yeah, that's when you get issues. Is when it's shoved in your face, and people don't want to see it.
Mm. Yeah, like I said, I'd rather show a picture of a meal that I've cooked, or the meat that I've prepared and stuff. For me, that's why I do it. Is for that end product, for being able to put food on the table. So I'd rather show the end product
Yeah,
than a
same.
bird with a hole in his head or a hole in his neck, because I just I don't see the value in posting stuff like that personally. But yeah, again, we've all got a clear kind of agreement on what the right way to go about it is. So yeah, thanks for that, guys. The last one is by, again, someone we know, Mr. Lloyd Bolton. So shout out to Lloyd. Met him at Harrogate last year. Hopefully I'll meet him again this year. He says, "Hi lads, what got you both into long draw?"
Do you want to go first?
With me, I don't know if you've ever had it, but I was struggling with target panic, like what you get with archery. Like, I couldn't short draw. I just couldn't bring my hand on the target. And if I did, I'd just let go. I didn't have no control over when I was letting go. And to be honest, I was getting to a point where it weren't no fun, And I stumbled across Mikey Paul and Chucking. And watching Chucking shoot, and Mikey was new to it, and he was enjoying himself. I tried long draw, started sort of just past me ear, and now I'm full butterfly. And once you start to get them sort of speeds and all that, it's just next level. It's so much fun. And that was it. I was hooked. I've never gone back to short draw ever since.
Yeah, for me it was. Like I say, back in the day when I used to shoot the old green dub on tabs, used to shoot 11mm leads, and it was just for crushing cans and stuff like that. I was just having a mess around and really enjoying it. Started like semi butterfly, went to butterfly, and then it got to the point where I was hitting as many targets as I was short draw. And then so I sort of thought, oh, well, I might as well stick. And then after that, I started realizing I was actually hitting more targets, because I find there's some slight adjustments. Like if something's a little bit further, you can give it a little bit more, whereas with a fixed anchor, you can't. So there's a little extra to it. Something further, you might put it a little bit more to get a little bit of a flatter trajectory, and you can sort of.
It's a little bit instinctive. It's a bit between both, like, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not quite instinctive.
No, because you ain't.
Because you're aiming and you but there's little tweaks. Yeah, and things like that, which
Like someone said to me last week that when I'm doing a long shot, I line up, but then I'll pull it back just that little bit further before I shoot, because subconsciously I must be thinking that's further away. I need a little bit more oomph. And it's things like that. You don't even know you're doing it. Or adjusting your anchor a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
You ain't really got an anchor,
Yeah,
Yeah, I've tried it once, and once was enough for me. But fair play to you guys.
Try it again.
yeah. I think long draw is
Nah.
one of those things when you start hitting stuff and you get
Satisfying.
decent with it, you start getting that point of no return where you're like, this is great fun, because most people that overshoot, even if they're only messing around, agree that it's more fun than short draw.
But it's that power as well, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
it seems so slow when you go back to short
Yeah, it
draw.
does
That's the
actually.
thing.
Yeah, and again with the light bands, because you can get the speed of like a 0.6 or 7 band, but you're only shooting 0.4. You can get the best of both worlds. You get the light pull, but the fast speeds. Yeah. So I'm never going back.
Nice.
That's for sure. I actually can't shoot short draw. I tried it the other day.
No.
Terrible. I can't hit a barn door. I couldn't hit a beer can at like 10 meters.
Nice.
It was everywhere.
Nice. Well, there we go, guys. That's all the questions and answers. So thank you for that. And I'm going to hand the mic over to you guys just to kind of leave the listeners with anything that you want to say. But just before you do head off, I will make sure that the Sling Ting website is down below, so you can get yourselves the bands. I'll also put a little bit of information about the UKSA event that's going on in August. So
There's Sammy.
if
How you
people
doing,
have
man?
watched this and want this information,
Come say hello,
make
Sam.
sure you check that out down the bottom.
There's a famous Sammy.
Hey, guys.
Sammy. I taught him everything he knows, and now
He's
coming
teaching
for the
us.
trophies. He's coming for the trophies.
There we go.
Go, man.
Yeah, I think that's about it, isn't it?
So yeah,
No, just make sure, make an effort, try and get to the competitions, everybody. You know, like it's not run as a business. We don't get anything out of it. None of the people get anything out of it. Just go over. Everyone's friendly. If you've never shot before, just go have a shoot. It's more just about the social side of things. August bank holiday, Yalding, not far from the M20.
Yes.
Easy to get to. Yeah, and go and buy some Ghost White because it'll
sorry,
make
you're up in Scotland, it's not.
the start.
and from me, just everyone keep enjoying your catapults, keep enjoying shooting. There's no point if it's not fun, so just keep having fun with it, boys.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, thank you.
Perfect. There we go. Well, I'm sure I'll see you both at Harrogate, so I'll look forward to that, and I'll catch you guys soon.
Nice one. Cheers, Benji.
See you later, mate.